Hey team, welcome back. It's Lee, the Unorthodox Principal, and we are so thrilled to have you here at Dear Tup. We have had so many amazing educators reach out, and it has been so hard for us to pick and choose, and so we've really been trying to differentiate some topics just to make sure you're engaged and it, kind of keeps you guessing too. So let's hop on in from our friend from Michigan who writes in, Dear Tup, I'm really struggling with work-life balance. I hear that all the time. I have 2 young children at home, and as a new assistant principal, I never feel like my job is done. I don't know how much longer I can sustain this workload and the guilt. Should I leave administration and go back to teaching? I'm just so lost. Please help. Love, need a little balance in my life, from Michigan. Well, dear, need a little balance in your life? I feel you. You are definitely the majority. Even when I was teaching, when I was an assistant principal, when I was a principal, work-life balance has always been a struggle for me. So I'm probably honestly not even the best person to give you advice on this, because I'm going to give you really, really good, sound advice. I promise. But it's advice that I never took. I should have. I would think after teaching in my early 30s and having a stroke while teaching, I would have really put in more effort for that work-life balance. But I am a workaholic at heart. When you do what you love and you're passionate about what you do, sometimes, you fall out of balance. And we feel that, especially when you have young kids and you're starting a new role. But it does get easier. I don't know if it gets easier. You get better. You get more confident. You understand the role more. But at the end of the day, this was some advice that my principal used to say to me when I was teaching, and I would have to miss a day for professional development or a doctor's appointment, and I would call and check in, and I would make sure everything was going okay. And she said to me, Lee, are you that selfish to think that this school cannot run without you? And that always stuck with me, even on really hard days that I never wanted to leave my classroom or building. Her words always played back to me that the school is going to survive with you there or not. And something else that my superintendent said to me, and this really hit home, he said, Lee, your job, if you would die today, your job would be posted before they even ran your obituary in the paper. And so those are 2 distinct pivotal points in my career as a teacher and as an administrator that I had to remind myself to slow down, that I could still do a great job. But there were things on a list, and I know what you're talking about, like you never feel like your job is done because you have this ongoing list that you have to set down, and you have to tell yourself, I can get to that tomorrow. I can get to that in 3 days. And that is something we have to learn as administrators too. We're servant leaders, right? We want to do everything. We want to do it great. And we want to support students. We want to support teachers. We want to make sure that our building is safe. We're supporting our principal, right? We're supporting our central office administrators and everyone. And we just feel like, I have all this to do. And if I don't get it done, I'm not doing a great job. And that is the biggest key, is really prioritizing what is important. And then also modeling that for your teachers and having courageous conversations with your teachers who come up to you and everything is a 5-alarm emergency. Did you hear about this? Do you know this? What are you doing about little Billy who hid under the desk? Did you see the referral that I put in? Did you see our attendance is 89% and we're supposed to be at 90? Do we have the PLC meeting? Do we have this? Did we do this? It's very important because a lot of times in teachers, I'm a teacher at heart, so don't get mad at me about this, but a lot of teachers have blinders on, and what is happening in their classroom is the most important. And it is, and we want them to think that, right? We don't want them to be, well, what's so-and-so doing down the hall, and what is third grade doing, but I teach kindergarten, right? We want them to be in the zone and be there. But what happens is sometimes they forget, and I did this as a teacher too, so I don't want you to be like, shame, don't talk about teachers, because I don't do that. But they forget your responsibilities are so much different. You are looking at the collective whole, at the big picture. And so something I always encourage new administrators to do, something I didn't do as an administrator, and I did not do as a teacher, but what I encourage others to do is get out any type of communication before the weekend. If you can get it out on a Thursday, and then teachers have questions, they have that Friday to do it, but allowing yourself that time on the weekend and setting boundaries and clear boundaries for you and for your staff, because I always preach that too. Like, I never sent emails on the weekend unless it would be an emergency, and that was far and few between, because I would usually send text out to like my department heads or grade level chairs, and then they would push out the communication. And again, that was just in an emergency. And so how can you look at the things that you do, your daily tasks, and make sure that they make sense, that you have that your priorities are freaking straight, right? Like, so many times you want to drop this and pick up this. Well, then you have fires burning everywhere, and that's not healthy for you, and that's not healthy for you at home. And so what I would suggest doing is one boundary that you can start today, right? One thing. Like, I'm not going to tell you 20 things, because that's freaking impossible. But one thing that you can do is send a note to your staff, an email to your staff, and say, no information will be sent out on the weekends. I will also turn my cell phone off unless it's an emergency at this time. Make sure your teachers are doing that to their families too, because with Seesaw and Dojo and Remind, it's like everybody's inundated with this constant communication, and people need to unplug. This will make you better at home, knowing when I put my head down on the pillow, I know my teachers, no one's communicating with my teachers. My teachers know that we're all good, and that we all have this common understanding. Some people are not going to respect that, and they're going to keep reaching out. You have to keep modeling it and keep showing them this boundary. So get your communication out either on a Thursday or Friday. I always say do not wait until Sunday, because your teachers that have high anxiety will wait for that all weekend, and so they don't truly unplug. And then find things that bring you joy. Make sure that you're present with your family. Your family deserves the best of you, and don't make the same mistakes that I did, which was give everything I had to everyone else and give my family nothing, because it's not really worth it. Still work hard, still do the best job that you can do, but set those boundaries, prioritize, and remember, you are a human being, not a superhero. So don't forget, dear, need a little balance in my life. We are in this together. You have a huge support system behind you that feel the same way, and we're always trying to juggle work life with our family life and figure out that balance. So I hope this helps, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this video for some more unorthodox principle, and don't forget to also submit your letters to Dear Tup, and have the best day. Don't talk about it, be about it.